Hey everyone, Christine here with Iowa Diabetes, and I'm really excited to have Molly, our amazing dietitian, with me today.
Yes.
Is this your first Facebook Live?
It is. It is.
Well, we have a lot of awesome information for you. Our goal today is to help you understand how different types of foods and a combination of those foods can really help to increase metabolism, decrease hunger, and really help you to reach your health goals for 2023. So I wanted to show you guys something that I thought was really interesting. Oops, I went too far. There we go. So there was a study done and it looked at the different types of foods and how it affects your base metabolic rate over time. And so if you look at those little square boxes, that is a meal that's high in protein and high in fiber. So like some chicken and vegetables. Mm-hmm. And if you look at that line below that, that is more of a processed, low protein, low fiber meal. Maybe something that you might be grabbing like at a fast food restaurant. And if you look, eating foods that are higher in protein and higher in fiber actually increase your metabolism for 6 hours after eating. Right. That's a long time.
It is. It is.
And another thing to remember with this is that protein takes about 20% for your body to digest. So what does that mean? If you have 100 calories of protein, you're actually only getting 80 of those calories. Where fats and carbs are more of like a 90 to 100%.
Right.
So that's another thing to remember. So I know, what do you tell patients as far as protein goes with their meals?
I mean, I always joke that I say protein 1,000,000 times a day. It's so incredibly important, helps stabilize blood sugars, and then helps boost your metabolism as well too. So it's incredibly important. Try to get it in with every meal and every snack if you can.
Exactly. And so this I also found really interesting. It's different types of foods and how those foods affect hunger, or in this case, fullness. Right. And I really like, if you look on the right, the number one food is asparagus. Right. Asparagus has hardly any calories, but it has a ton of nutrition.
It does, yes.
Broccoli is also really high on the list. So two of the highest things on the list are a vegetable.
Right, right.
And oh, go ahead.
No. So I always tell people, when you look at your plate, try the thing that's on your plate the most should be vegetables. So that should take up the majority of your plate, and then carbs and protein. And this is a good reason why.
And when I talk to my patients, even about the order in which they eat food, I say it's okay to have a starchy vegetable or to have carbs. Your body needs carbs for fuel, and your muscles need carbs to build. So, but if you have your plate, if you're eating your protein and your non-starchy vegetable first, if you look at this, it's naturally going to make you fuller sooner.
Right.
And that's really going to help with portion control.
Right. Exactly. I always tell people, fill up on the stuff that doesn't raise your blood sugar first, like those non-starchy veggies and the protein, like Christine was just saying, and it's really going to set you up for success.
I mean, part of me was a little bit sad that ice cream is like and chocolate chip cookies are one of the lowest on the list. But it's, and hot dog, you think, oh, well, that has protein in it.
Right.
But it's highly, highly processed.
Exactly. Yep.
And so that is one of those things, those highly processed foods we just saw on the previous slide aren't going to increase your metabolism as much, and they're not going to make you as full.
Right.
So really, so Molly came up with some awesome lists for you guys of different swaps for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks that we're going to go over with you right now, of just better ways of incorporating healthier foods, more protein, and more fiber.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll start with breakfast. I feel like a lot of people struggle with breakfast. There's a lot of yummy foods in the morning. Cold cereal is a typical food that we kind of go to because it's easy. So donuts, muffins, I hear often, waffles, pancakes, bagels with cream cheese. That's a common one for people as well too. And a lot of people that are on the go in the morning kind of fall back to those fast food breakfast sandwiches or breakfast pizzas, like from a gas station. Fruit smoothies, that's one that I really want to point out because we think it's healthy, but it's just loaded with sugar and not a ton of protein. So I'm going to give you a better option for that as well too. And of course, yogurt and granola, another thing people think is a great option, and it isn't always. So on the other side there, where you can see there's some healthy alternatives to the ones on the left. So instead of doing that cold cereal, try a whole grain oatmeal with some almonds. Add those almonds in there to boost the protein. Yep. So, or even stirring in some nut butter. Again, added protein, added healthy fats, or chia seeds. If you're wanting to be a little adventurous, Try the chia seeds. They have some good fiber in there, some
Yep.
good omega-3 fatty acids, which help with anti-inflammatory, decreasing the inflammation in our body, which also increases our metabolism as well too.
And you know what else those have in it? And flax seeds, they actually help to increase your good, healthy cholesterol, that
Exactly,
HDL cholesterol.
exactly.
And
Yes.
we definitely want to get that
Yep.
boosted.
Yep. That fiber that's in them grabs that cholesterol and gets it out of our body. So whole grains, anytime you can make that switch to whole grains, it's good. Your body has to use more energy to break down and digest those whole grains again, so it boosts your metabolism. So whole grain toast with nut butter, try a whole grain waffle or a whole grain pancake. Instead of syrup, put some peanut butter on there to boost that protein. Whole grain mini bagels, so a little bit less carbs, and you're increasing that fiber. Throw an egg on there. Eggs used to get a really, really bad rap. Really not the case anymore. We're learning that eggs are good for us. For a week is totally acceptable, and eat the whole egg. Don't just eat the egg whites. There's good metabolism boosting nutrients in the egg white, or excuse me, in the egg yolk. Yes. Berries with the eggs. Berries have the least amount of sugar out of all the fruits.
And a lot of great antioxidants as well.
Yes, for that anti-inflammatory. Thank you for that, Christine.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Greek yogurt, good probiotics to help boost your metabolism, protein as well too. So instead of that fruit smoothie, try a whey protein with some almond milk, unsweetened almond milk. I should have mentioned that on there. Berries and spinach. Spinach is a good anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, that's a great one. And even if you mix those, you're making a healthier version of a smoothie versus using like some apple juice and
exactly.
And with that Greek yogurt, there's different variations of that. So do look for those lower sugar options in the Greek yogurt. So there are a few out there still that are quite a few calories and high in sugar.
Right.
And now we're going to move on to lunch.
Yes. So again, some common lunches there on the left. So pizza, to-go sandwiches like Subways and Jimmy John's, to-go Mexican, cans of soup are a common one that people like to bring to work.
So what's wrong with the soup?
Okay. So a lot of times it's very low in protein and loaded with sodium. So we really, even the ones that say less sodium, still a lot of sodium in there. So we really want to try to avoid those if we can. Try to make your own soup instead. You can see it's there on the right. Make your own soup. Make it, on your day off, and then you could eat it for an entire week.
I love doing that. I'm a big soup fan, but I make my own. And then I get to add healthy veggies and proteins and so forth as well.
Exactly. Make sure there's a good source of protein in there, like lean turkey, and some good veggies in there too. So, instead of the salad with iceberg lettuce, try spinach instead. And with add a ton of non-starchy veggies, do a vinaigrette with some good healthy fats to boost your metabolism instead of that creamy dressing.
And one alternative too, vinaigrette is a great option, but Bolthouse makes a really good yogurt-based dressing.
They do. I forgot
has
about
like
that
25
one.
calories.
Yes.
So if you're like, I'm not a big vinaigrette fan, but you want to have a little bit of that ranch on there, Bolthouse has a lot of different options. They have a Thousand Island as well. They have a blue cheese.
The blue cheese one is really good. Yes, I forgot about that one. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is a really good brand. It's like 35 calories for like a couple tablespoons, but it's got a good source of protein as well. So
what are some alternatives then that you would recommend for lunch?
So then meal prepping is, let me start at the top of the list. Sorry. So do a low sodium deli meat sandwich that you can make at home instead of getting one to go. Load it with veggies if you can. And make sure it's on some whole grain bread. And I'm going to show you a dip here in a second that I love. I am definitely someone that can't eat raw veggies without dip, and I'm a dietitian. So, but if you make your own Greek yogurt dip, getting some plain, I like the Chobani brand, but some plain Greek yogurt and throwing a little bit of, ranch seasoning in there. Sorry.
I do the same thing.
Yes. And stir it up. And so you're going to fill up more with that because there's more protein.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of protein. It's like 15, 16 grams or something for the cup, which is a lot.
It is. And I could, eat an entire cup with my veggies and I get fuller and stay fuller a lot longer. And you get the probiotics in there as well.
I recommend that a lot of times too for my patients and those that I work with on health management. of, even at 3 o'clock, if don't wait and be starving for dinner, because then you don't make as good of choices.
Right.
So have something like that at like 3 o'clock or so. So then you're like not starving by the time dinner time hits.
Exactly. Yep. That really throws your metabolism and your blood sugars for a loop when you dip and then you go right back up when you eat a big meal and make not great choices. So, and do popcorn. If you're a big chip person that likes chips at lunch, do popcorn instead. You get 3 cups of popcorn for the same amount of like 10 chips. So you get a lot more, and it's a whole grain, air popped, whole grain popcorn. Is a whole grain. It's much better for your blood sugars, and you get to eat a lot more than you would with the chips. So that's always a bonus.
And that's what I love about this is when you incorporate those non-starchy vegetables, the lean proteins, how much food you can actually eat is so much more. So you don't feel like you're starving yourself. Starvation diets do not work.
No.
So we want to show you guys some of these examples so that you can enjoy what you're eating and also increase your metabolism and not feel like you're starving all the time.
Right. I tell people all the time, my goal is never to make people hungry. I don't want that. So I want, people to enjoy their foods. You can have like 2 pieces of small candy and a cup of blueberries for the same amount of calories. So, you get to eat a lot more and still enjoy something sweet. So with the blueberries. So
totally agree. And I like this too with the spinach. Even for me, for my sandwiches and so forth, I replace lettuce with spinach for everything. Yeah. Just because it has so much more nutrients.
It does.
And when you give your body extra nutrients, it helps signal to the brain that you're fuller sooner.
Exactly.
And that's part of the thing with helping to with portion control. If you can, that signal is working properly, you're going to be much less likely to overeat.
Right.
And then we have some dinner slacks.
Yes. So this tends to be the meal where people overeat because they don't have that afternoon snack. They are going 6 hours, 7 hours without eating. And just how our society is built, that tends to be our biggest meal. And I really try to gear people away from that idea. So here's some good swaps that can help you eat less. Spaghetti, going off of the common dinner. Spaghetti is a very common dinner with some ground beef sauce, garlic bread, try a whole grain or a veggie pasta instead. I love chickpea pasta because it's loaded with protein. Yes. I eat half as less, half as much as I would with regular spaghetti.
It makes you feel fuller sooner. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
With the chickpea pasta, I've noticed the same thing.
Yeah. Yes. And then I have a ton of leftovers. So then I don't have to cook again. So it's definitely a bonus. A red sauce is, going to be better than those creamier sauces, but still add that ground beef in there, some ground turkey. But if you are filling up more with the veggie pasta or the whole grain pasta, you're going to be less likely to eat that garlic bread. So, tacos, Mexican rice, try to use whole grain tortillas or even corn tortillas. Yep. Try black beans with that extra protein and fiber instead of rice. We know rice really shoots those blood sugars up, and we want to try to limit that. Casserole dishes, very common this time of year. Try cauliflower rice. If you have a casserole dish that you usually use rice with, try a cauliflower rice instead, or a veggie pasta again.
And one thing I like to do, because sometimes I still like the texture of rice, so I say, and Peter's like, I've had that cauliflower rice, and cooking it in chicken broth can make it more flavorful, or in the casserole, obviously that would do that.
It would,
But sometimes I'll say, okay, if I'm going to use a cup of rice, I'm going to use half of that, and then I'm going to use the other half with the cauliflower, so you're still significantly lowering your calories, but you're still getting kind of that texture. Last night, my kids love spaghetti, so we had spaghetti. But I did half zucchini noodles and then half of the regular noodles. So that way it's like lowering calories, but I'm still getting that texture.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And you get to increase the veggies in that as well too. But I tell people if I'm trying to get them to switch over whole grains, especially with the pasta, mixing it is what I tell them to do, to kind of, because the texture is different than a white, but it's so much more nutrient dense and you definitely get used to it. If you like breaded chickens or, like proteins that aren't the greatest because they have added breading or something, doing salmon instead. Salmon is, a lot of people don't realize this, loaded with vitamin D. 90% of your daily intake of vitamin D is in 4 ounces of salmon. Vitamin D really helps those muscles stay in check, and those muscles help our metabolism. So it's definitely a trickle effect with the salmon. Exactly. So yep. And of course, non-starchy veggies.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things on here is that combination. Salmon and non-starchy vegetables are my go-tos.
Yes. Put some lemon on that salmon. Try to stay away from, added sodium with the seasoning, which can be hard, but if you do lemon, a little dill, yeah, so that's a really, really good option and easy to make. Burgers, fries, sorry, one more. But yeah, try to do like a veggie burger instead, with a whole grain bun, steam bag, super easy. And those veggie burgers, you just have to throw them in the microwave. I mean,
they're
easy
super
to make.
simple for sure.
Go ahead.
And then we have snacks, because you don't want to be starving throughout the day. And for some people, we notice that when you eat, it actually increases your metabolism. So sometimes for some people, and those with diabetes also, having the smaller meals throughout the day can continue to help boost that metabolism as the day goes on. Versus like that whole, previous concept of we just need 3 large meals. So snacks are not the enemy.
They're not. No.
Some snacks are though, right?
Yeah, the ones on the left there. Chips, candy bars, pretzels, cookies, other baked goods, ice cream. Yes. So those things are fine every once in a while, but it's that 80-20 aspect. Try to make 80% of your choices great. 20%, that's, we don't expect perfection. So, like I said, do whole grain popcorn instead of chips, do a low sugar protein bar instead of candy bars, raw veggies with that Greek yogurt dip that I'll show you here in a second. Fruit with like Cool Whip if you're craving something sweet.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, it is. That's my go-to for people that love cookies and candy and things like that at night.
And if you're like an ice cream, you just want like a couple bites, you can actually take the frozen like Cool Whip and just take a couple scoops of that, and it's hardly any calories.
Yes, or freeze your Greek yogurt. You could do that. Yeah. Keto, there's a ton of low sugar ice cream options out there. Trying to think. Oh, Rebel's my favorite. So that's a good one. It's got loaded with healthy fats and protein. Nuts if you're craving something salty, or whole grain crackers with cheese. Peanut butter again. Oh, with the dark chocolate chips. So when we're stressed, our metabolism, not so great.
Right.
So that the dark chocolate has something called flavonoids in them that help decrease and keep those stress hormones in check. So if you need a reason to eat chocolate, there's your reason. Just a few dark chocolate chips on a spoonful of peanut butter, and it's like a peanut butter cup.
Exactly. And the dark chocolate is going to have a lot more of those than your milk chocolate.
Thank you. Yes. Dark chocolate. Yes.
And then I also make this dip. I love it.
Yes. It's so easy. I mean, you would think I'd be sick of it by now because I eat it so much, but yeah, so just pour, you don't need the whole packet of that ranch seasoning, just like a tablespoon, or no, not a tablespoon, probably a teaspoon. I don't even measure it anymore, but if you just shake it in, I do too. Yep. I'm like, do I need a little bit more? Shake a little bit more in there. And it's portion controlled for you too, with using the individual cup of the plain Greek yogurt.
Right. Now, so one thing I love that we do here is, not everybody likes to eat the same types of foods. So what I love about our dietitian, our nutrition program is, Molly will work with you on what are you currently eating? How can you make little swaps that can help to increase the metabolism, can help lower your calories, can help keep your blood sugars in check. So you're really coming up with an individualized meal plan that's going to help you to be successful for reaching your health goals. And that is so powerful. Some people are like, I don't know what to eat. And it's like, we can give you examples like we did here today, but everyone kind of likes little different things. So you work with patients all the time on that. And we have seen fantastic results because we're able to individualize that and really make someone successful in their goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I never have 2 appointments that are exactly the same because everyone's different. And my motto is I want to focus on what can you eat, not what you can't eat. So that kind of just means off of what you said.
Want a healthy relationship with food.
Yes. So perfect.
Comment below, you guys, if you have any questions or if we can be of assistance, we will be looking at those. And we hope you have an amazing 2023. And we hope this video helps you to reach your health goals for this year. Thanks, everybody.